Alrighty. Alright. So. I lost my train of thought. Alright. You're all running. Put some thought into this. So, we'll start out with flying to Kazovac, somebody. Kazovac, medevac. Medevac's a dedicated medical platform. So, ambulance, medevac aircraft. That's what we call medevac. Anything where it is not directly intended for medevac, or you're like an armed aircraft, then technically it's Kazovac. Not really part of the test, just a fun fact. So if you're in a gunship and you swoop down and pick somebody up, you're technically Kazavacing them. Aircraft's doesn't necessarily have the life support on them, so you might meet a medevac halfway. There's all kinds of different things. But anyways, so you're gonna go pick up some wounded guys. Wounded guy up to the northeast. There's some icons on FH-85. Alright, so we won't use any external views, but we want to use our satellite view, map view. Yes, it's a nice open field. And you're just gonna try and look at that thing. Actually, you know what we should do first? Let me test something. Get a good look at that LZ like we talked about the other day, and just kind of try and figure some things out if you're just looking at that LZ from the pictures, using your ruler, all kinds of stuff. And I'm gonna pull something up. Yep, I'm about to get you that in a second. Sorry, I'm just doing a test. Squared away here. I am slaved. Alright, well, I'll have to fix the winds, but, so what do you know about the Huey radios? Yeah, that's kind of... There you go. Alright, so we got 3 of them. Yep, and the VOR. Yep, alright, so our Victor is a civilian radio generally. We use it overseas because we talk to civilian airports, and then also, I believe the Marines use the Victor. Tactically, they'll put what's called a KY-58. I have some of these, it's a encryption device. So I have a lot of these same radios on my Blackhawk. a little. I have a digital FM. I now replaced our Victors and VORs, but some of these I literally had just till recently, last 5 years, when our aircraft went through a reset, and then we got a little more update radios. We even had those transponders on the top left. And now we're getting actual digital radios, and then the modern Black Ops have all digital crap, but that's not here nor there. So this radio's been around. These aren't necessarily Vietnam era here. This is like an 80s Huey. But, yeah, it's all still runs about the same. But your Victor, civilian. Uniform is a military radio. And then we actually see that a lot more with air-to-ground communications. Air Force JTACs generally keep a uniform radio because they talk to jets. Pretty common. Talk to AWACS with them. We also can talk to civilian ATC. Bigger airports have dual transmitters, so they transmit both uniform and Victor. Yep. When they transmit on a Victor and a UHF. It's kind of hard to do because you'd end up talking over somebody else who's on Victor if you're on uniform. Kind of a pain if you're not careful. And then, FM. A lot of military aircraft have 2 FMs. One's the flight internal, one used for air to ground or your operations, stuff like that. ADFs are pretty common. Even though those are going away in the United States, you see a lot less ADFs. In the real world, you don't use FM homing very often. You never use it now. GPS got rid of the FM homing. So what an FM homing was, it wasn't necessarily a beacon that went off. It's you're talking to a guy, like I got set for 30-30. I'm talking to a guy on the ground, and we're talking back and forth, and I can't find him, or I don't know exactly where he is. He's an SF team. I don't know exactly where he is. Transmitting. Yeah, so I'm talking to him, and I say, all right, man, give me a short count or a long count. And he goes, all right. And I can actually demonstrate a short count in this map. Let's go to, let me go to the brief. Go ahead. The Wounded Engineer is actually on the FM homing, so I'll let you tune it up, even though you're supposed to use pilotage. It's 32 on the FM. So you would be talking to him, and then you'd say, give me a count. And then you would swap it to home. You get a bearing, and you'd kind of look at your heading, you'd look at your reference out there, and then you go back to talking to them. You're doing short counts because the Russians are listening, the Chinese, you try not to get to 32, you won't. So you turn it in 32 and go to retrain or home. All right. And then in the FM map, in the F10 option, you request a short count. Let me get it for you. Here you go. I'll get it. It's in the F10 options. Crap. There you go. So he's counting for you. And you would be getting your heading, getting lined up. Yep. And then he stops counting. And you go back to talking. Because you don't want him, he doesn't want to get tracked by everybody else out there that's honing. And he's trying to limit talking all. So that's how you do a short count. You wouldn't really have a beacon. Nowadays, that gets replaced by the GPS. Hey man, where you at? I'm at this grid. All right, I put that thing in there, and I got him within a foot. I still have homing antennas on my Blackhawk, but the mic models, the ones that replaced mine, don't. I don't even know if our homing's hooked up. I just know I have the antennas on there. So those are your radios. I forgot where I was going with this point. Completely lost myself. I wanted you to know. Oh, okay. So when you start up on a civilian airport or on a big enough airport, they have weather. So I have ATIS on this, and that's going to come off the Victor. So if you go to your Victor radio and put 13000, you will get weather, which will get you your winds. That's where I was going with this. 130. You just went to 130, right? Oh, and then you right-click on the bottom knob, on the bottom left knob, and that turns the radio on. And you should be hearing it. Let me cycle it. I have a thing that cycles the radios.
1600 Sukumi Airport Information Echo. Time 1600.
Unfortunately, it says
Runway
winds
in use,
150. Or 155. But
Cloud scattered at
I don't believe that's right.
Viewpoint 8. Altimeter 754.
The winds are more like 1-2. I need to change that. Yep, the winds are coming from 1-2, and it gives you the runway to use. So, yep. So you always get, yep. Well, if it says winds are 155 at 11, that means winds are coming from 155 and they're 11 knots. If you want to turn that off, you just off-tune it. And now I wish I could put that in more of my maps, but I had to record that, and as you can see, I've changed the winds in these maps. So now I got to go back and reread it. So that's called ASOS. Crap, I can't remember. One of them's automated, one of them's can be a person. Like ATIS is a person reading, where you can get an ASOS, which is an automated system. Doesn't really matter. So that should have told you what the winds were. They gave you the active runway. You can see where the winds are coming. So now that you're looking at your LZ, the winds are coming 1-2, kind of in line with the runway. So they're kind of, it's going to be, if you approach from the southwest heading northeast, you would have a somewhat right quartering crosswind. So kind of crossing the LZ, a little bit of a headwind if you approach on that long axis. So long story short, I didn't really. Winds are yeah, the winds are coming due east would be 90. I guess the winds are coming from more of a, you get kind of a crosswind landing at the LZ, maybe a tail. But we can, there's a couple ways we can figure the winds out once we get there. Some of them are a little advanced. Do you actually have enough aircraft control where you might be able to pull it off? I haven't tested it out. It's called a wind drift circle, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. All right. So you know, so looking at that LZ, how many aircraft do you think you could fit in there? Approximately. Just if I said, hey man, I need you to land troops into that LZ, you generally gonna land in the last third of the LZ, the front aircraft. But I said, hey, what's the most you can get me in there? Just by looking at the map, 15. How many meters is it? It's 170. So the aircraft disc is about 30 or 50 feet. What are we looking at? 200 meters, 600 feet. That's 2 per 100. 12 would be pretty tight. Yeah, still gonna be. Yeah, man, it's 50 foot per aircraft. 15 would be a little less probably. 15 times 50. It's 750 feet. You got maybe 600. So yeah, but you get, what kind of formation would you recommend? Yeah, stagger's probably, it's long and skinny. It's wide enough to fit aircraft next to each other. Technically it says for LZs you're supposed to have 50 meters. So it says, according to that rule, you could fit 4 in there. But using 150 feet, having one disc separation, so it's a 50-foot aircraft, 50 feet of separation, next disc, next aircraft. Really, I think you could fit more. You might be able to fit 8 in there. All right. How's the terrain look? Good. Flat. You got along. All right. So the winds, let's say, let me get a good gauge on the winds here. See if they're actually due east or due east. Winds are coming at this factory here. I'm just looking outside at a factory. 2-0. So I think winds are coming. If we were at the LZ, I think the winds are coming right there. Shit. Might not be able to approach straight in from where you set yourself up, but you're not doing an air assault. I'm just saying, I think that's how where the winds are heading towards the LZ. So if you went straight in that long axis from ACP Bear, if you went straight in on that long axis, you might, 30, you might have a slight tailwind. So you might have to circle around. But that's okay. If you're a single ship helicopter, you can hit that LZ, circle around, and land to find the winds. But we can work on finding a little better wind closer to the LZ if we want. But you planned a route. You see the big things up there that are going to help you nav. You marked some of them with your, so you probably won't even need to use your F-10 very much because you see how it's a big city road. You're going to hit that other city. Between where you got ACP Bear 30, you got a big field between, basically you're flying a city, big field, then your LZ. So that helps you narrow it down. And then you just got to find it on the right side. And it's kind of a butt of an LZ to find. It used to be concrete. So you got your pilotage down. You got your marks. Anything else we want to know about this LZ? We know we could fit probably 8 aircraft in there tight. You told me it was pretty flat. Yeah, you can still, yeah. Hot LZs we try to avoid because it just never goes well. If you had to go in there and rescue somebody who was kind of hot, you might be able to fit 8 in there. It'd be tight. You still just kind of land slow and smooth. Just sucks because you're gonna eat bullets. You try and come in fast with 8 aircraft on tight LZ and you'll just crash. So really, we try to avoid. The aircraft was designed to drop guys out of sight. And it really depends on the mission and all that kind of stuff. But like we were soldiers, they prepped that LZ, but they were intending on dropping that battalion in there, them getting all secured, and then going out and making contact with the enemy. They prepped it to avoid what they were doing, but their point wasn't to go in there hot. Now, once the battle started, they had no choice because they didn't want those guys to get overrun and killed, so they just kept flying in. But their original plan was to fly somewhere, set up, and then conduct operations. That's really what the helicopter does. But we take it a lot farther. Who turned on mortars? Alright. Turn off the mortars. Alright, you're good. So go ahead and take off and go. We'll go medevac a wounded engineer. I'm gonna change this map so the winds match. I was just trying to make it easier for people. A stupid ATIS. Then runway in use was 1-2. Just behind you, but alright. No, you don't have to take it, but no, but that's the direction you might want to take off in. Yeah, I mean, you're already flying now, so just do a right turn and just head on out. Yeah, I don't need to do a hover power check because you did one on the other map. You did so well, I don't need to see it again, and your performance considerations are better on this map. What did you do last time? You did running landings, you did running landings, you did, gosh, hover power check. Talked about some other stuff. So, and if you were heading in route and you're talking to this guy and you can't find him, you'd say, alright, you switch back to homing, and let me see if my short count's there. Request that short count again. just restarted it. Here's the trick. This is DCS. So right now it's active. You're going in the right direction. But when that short count pauses, the needle freezes. So when he stops talking, you have to know to ignore that thing now. Like, look, get your bearings and say, alright, that's good. Because in DCS, the damn thing just freezes. So you could turn 180 and think you're flying the right freaking way. But that's how the short count works, really. But don't worry about that. You planned a route. Now you're just using your pilotage. You're looking at the big things around you. This big rural city you're following. You're good. This is an example of how that works. Yeah. Yeah. So they call you en route and they tell you, hey man, this guy's actually at a construction site, not an open field. So you say, well, I'm not under fire and I don't want to wreck anything, so I'll do some high recons, maybe, or some recons, maybe high, maybe low. You know, you'll have to see as you approach. You're just gonna look for, you know, what kind of obstacles are in there. You're gonna try to figure out your best approach. Alright. And just try, you're coming up, you just want to get a good look at everything down there, see what kind of stuff, see if they prepped anything. Roger, any obstacles in there? I don't know if you can actually... Alright, well swing back around. This time do a lower pass. And see if you see anything else in there, or prepared LZ or buildings or anything. Yep. We're gonna do a low pass, see what we get. Alright. Oh. Swing back around. I think we missed the LZ. Keep going. Hold this heading, let's see what we see down here. Alright, hold what you got. Alright, got some lights up there. It's off to your 1 o'clock now. Anything in there? I don't know, you might be missing objects. See a crane down there, anything? No porta potties. No inverted Ys. Crap, alright. It'd be hard to show you. Alright, go ahead and make an approach into the LZ where the wounded guy is. You don't see anything in here? That's it? Crap. I'll land right there. Should make a noise and stuff when you land. Stand by. This is what you actually landed in. I'll send you a picture. So that's what you actually landed in. How you hit that without seeing anything. Pretty good. Yeah, I wonder why you don't see any of that. Might have to check your mods folder. Do you have the mods? Do you have the our mod pack in your save games? I'll have to check that. That's weird that you can't see that. That's alright. Okay, that might not be working. Anywho, alright. So, you can, we'll do some experiments with the winds. So right now you could drop a smoke grenade using the F10 menu. Go to F10, CTLD number 6. smoke markers. Ah, that sucks. You know what? Maybe because you're a gunship. That's alright. So there's another way to do it. We can do an experiment on this. So go ahead and take off. Yeah, now take off, head on out of this LZ. You know how to do a standard rate turn in a Huey? Alright. So on your slip indicator, above that you got a bar, and it's pointing to... that's hard. Yeah, it's got one bar pointing straight up, and then it's got a box to the left and a box to the right. If you line that bar up with the box on the right, like as you turn, yeah, hold on. Yep. So above the slip's a white bar. Go ahead and make a slight left turn. You'll see that bar. That's right, but you'll see that bar move to the right. Oh, you have no mods on at all? Oh, that's alright. That's probably why you couldn't see it though. You see that needle pointing to the right now? Or that bar kind of? So if you line that bar up, at the top it's really hard to see, but there's 3 bars, right? Or 3 white lines. Yep. So if you line that thing up as close as you can to the right bar. The slip indicator is terrible. That would be a standard rate turn. So try and enter a turn and line that bar up with the right box. Alright, let me know when it's there. Alright, so hold that perfect, as still as you can. That can't be right. Be half rate. You're barely turning. It's all the way lined up with a white bar. Yeah. I don't like that. So it should give you a standard rate turn in a Huey. I believe that's 2 minutes for a 360-degree turn. I don't know if you'll turn. So what you could do is you would fly over your LZ and you would enter a standard rate turn right over the top of it. And so that standard rate turn in a 0 wind situation means you do a 360-degree turn in 2 minutes. And if there was 0 winds, you would end on the same spot you started. Alright, so in theory, if you're able to fly over your LZ and hold the same exact turn in, so maybe that thing on a 10-degree right turn, just hold it. If there's no winds, you will just do circles over the same spots in the sky. But if there's winds, you will be pushed. So, it'd be hard to explain, but like if you're coming down, yeah. So if you do, yeah. So if you go to a 10-degree bank and hold it. Degree bank. Oh, okay. So on your attitude indicator, those marks on the top is 0. The first little one's 5. Second little one's 10. First big one's 30. Second big one is 60. And then the other one's obviously 90. You should see 2 little, like your indicator points straight up flying. And you're gonna have a tick, tick, larger tick. And you basically start to turn over your target, and then where you stop, that's where the wind has pushed you. So if you start over this circle, if you're over the LZ, and you started to turn right on it, and you stopped the turn, and you're to the northwest, means the winds were from the southeast. Makes sense, because they pushed you that way. Another way to try is, a lot of times you can tell by the pedals. So, these aircraft, so we have a GPS in most aircraft, and the MIA, you have a Doppler. You compare your ground speed to your indicated airspeed, and it's actually, you want your true airspeed, but that's a whole other matter. And if you were flying, and let's say I'm flying north, and it says, alright, indicated says I'm doing 120 knots, but my GPS says I'm doing 115 off the ground, means I'm going 5 knots slower, so it's a headwind of some sort. So that narrows it down. That cuts out half of the circle, half of the compass for my winds. I know it's somewhere in front of me. It's from 90 right to 90 left, somewhere in front of me. Now, if I'm crabbed, my aircraft's pointed to the right, that means it's somewhere on the right. I have a right quartering crosswind. If I'm crabbed to the left, it's on the left side. So that's one way to figure it out. So in DCS, you can actually F2 yourself. The airspeed. Sorry, what airspeed are you going right now? Alright, and then you can F2 yourself and see, I see you doing 178. Well, if you F2 yourself, it would give you an airspeed. This is just an example if you had it, yeah. Oh, yeah. So you're doing 171 kph. And it's about 90. I don't know, what's 10 knots is 20 kph. You're doing 171, so you're doing 95 knots. Is that what you're indicating right now? Okay. Now if you're trimmed up and flying level, your aircraft would probably be crabbed slightly to the left. So all that slip does is put your aircraft level, but so that means your aircraft's gonna be crabbed, point to one side. So just step on the ball and then get that thing level, and then level your wings as well. So step on the ball is always in the middle. You fly, and then fly straight ahead, and you'll probably notice you are flying, you're not pointing in the direction you're traveling, right? Well, you don't want to do that. Keep flying, fly in, yeah, fly in the exact heading you're doing now. So, step on that ball, you want that ball right in the center, and just fly a constant heading. So you'll notice the aircraft's probably twisted to the direction you're going a little bit. Yep, that means you're crabbed into the wind. Which way is it twisted? Alright. So we said your airspeed and ground speed matched up. That's kind of cheating. So you don't have a headwind or a tailwind, but you're crabbed off to the left. So that means you're getting hit by the side from the wind. So if you made so we compare, my other example was I compare airspeed to ground speed, and it says, hey, I'm either getting hit from the front or from the back. That narrows down my winds. Nope. No, because you always want to step on the ball, and you always want the ball to be centered. You know, you crab. You just don't fly looking the right way. Yeah. You just look sideways when you fly, that's all. And when you get real slow and it gets real windy, sometimes you're approaching almost looking out the right door. That's how crazy it could get. Sorry, but so you could use a combination of tricks to figure out the winds from going into an LZ, from dropping smoke, which in the real world you won't see very often. Sometimes the Marines would do that for ospreys and stuff in the desert. But if it's hot in the summertime, you go whipping a smoke grenade out there, you're gonna catch the whole thing on fire. So, and building roads just can't go throwing grenades out the windows. But smoke grenades also work in a tactical situation. Understanding, hey, my aircraft's crabbed left or right, because that kind of gives you a little indication where the winds are. Using the ATISes, using these smokestacks out here, which it's hard. In VR, I think it's a little better, but you can see they're all laid over to the right, which is the direction, the opposite direction you're crabbed in. So you can tell, hey, I'm crabbed to the left, so the winds are somewhere off the left. The smoke's going left to right, so I probably have winds off to the left or right. You know? So there's a lot of indicators out there if you figure out where the winds are. And then velocity is a whole other matter. Based on how the winds, how the smoke's moving, how much I'm crabbed at what speed. You can tell by a lot of time by the position of your pedals. You know. True. Which is why I thought I had some wind socks on this map. Wind socks are new to DCS. They only added them within the last year, so I probably don't have it. But yes, you have to. Some of that you have to know. On the ground, I look for wind socks, and those can be tricky because depending where I'm in the trees, the wind socks do different things. I'm looking at ATIS. I pull out my phone and I look at the weather. Yeah, you do all kinds of crap. At an airport, when you take off, it's generally pretty easy to get the winds. You look around, you get a good idea. For a helicopter, you got a little more leeway than an airplane. But, alright, but you get the LZ-PZ recon. Wind checks, you got route planning, you flew your route. What else? We've already done hardware power checks. Did we do terrain flight decels the other day? Alright, well, let's work on some of those. Get low level, head to the left there. So, come to a stop before you hit that taxiway. Just we're gonna do a nice, easy decel. Forget to pull that power back in so she doesn't settle. Good. You maintained a pretty constant attitude. You didn't try and quick stop so fast where you sunk into the trees. That's important as a gunship. And you stopped. So terrain flight decels aren't always to stop. You might do them to slow down, you might do them to stop, you might... Really, the important thing is not settling, not overdoing it, not trying to do a quick stop in a heavy helicopter. You got that good. You actually did into the wind, so that really helped you. Cool. Terrain flight decel. Let's go do a stupid slopes. I hate slopes in this game. Go. Slope. Yeah, they're so terrible in this game. Turn around and head out to the sea. Keep it about 50 feet, just kind of poke along. Head along the runway. Slopes are hard, so you set down one skid, you start lowering the power, you displace the cyclic into the skid, you rock the aircraft down so both the aircraft's nice and level. Come right, just follow the runway. And then you get the other skid on the ground, and then you keep lowering the power, you make sure everything's settled, and then when you're done, you neutralize the stick. It's a real delicate, smooth process if you're doing deliberate slopes. DCS, man, as soon as one skid hits down ground, like, just having that fine control movement to put the other skid down gently is really hard. I usually judge the technique when people pick up. I can usually tell when people get it when they pick up. They're able to displace the cyclic and they can pick the aircraft and just roll the aircraft straight up. It's a lot easier going up than down. But in the real world, the process is the same. Going up and down, you're just doing the opposite. You just want a nice smooth laydown. But DCS, I understand that it is just hard to do. Do you see that hill? On the other side of the riverbank there. Slow down and approach that. And we're going to use that hill for a slope, but we're going to go do it downwards, really shallow. Yeah, but you're going to go down towards really shallow. So catch it and hang a left. Or only catch it where it's like a foot high. Basically, we're going to go down to here where it's like maybe a foot. You're going to put one skid on it. Drop the other one. I would do a 1. Yeah, keep going down. You're going to get it where it's only a foot. Yeah, anywhere down in here. So just kind of line it up with your fuselage. Yeah, keep heading forward. It's still too steep. Alright, and yeah, anywhere in here. That was a good slope. It was well controlled. But like I said, it's hard to do that fine control. Now, pick it up. So displace that cyclic into the slope. Slowly pick it up. Let's see if you can roll up. Watch your tail. Rolled it up. And keep coming up. Now you put it back down. There, up, and left, and up. That's the technique. It's a fine tune. So go ahead and turn the tail to the right a little. Get her lined up. Yeah. Alright, now go ahead and set her back down that slope. Nice and gentle, slow. Pedals is the hardest thing. Alright, now I just want to see you pick it up again. Nice and easy, just remember to pedal, pedal, pedal. Roll the aircraft level, displace that cyclic into the slope. Nice and slow. There you go. So ideally, you could do that on the way down. It takes a ton of practice. But you did a slope landing, you didn't crash. That's a slope. Let's see here. Go ahead, get out to sea for me, 1,000 feet. Traffic books everywhere. Well, 1,000 feet, I know. Make a 180. Let's see here. You have access to your keyboard? Oh, okay. Were you able to like hit some keys and stuff? Alright. Hit backslash, head into your radio menu. Alright. Hit, go into F10 for me. So I'm missing a command. Go ahead, hit G and F and then 2. Yeah. Yeah. There you go. Alright. Now you got an auto rotation. So lower your collective. Sure. Come to the right. Let's see if we can hit some concrete. Kind of started that a little too late. I was going for the surprise element. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. Alright, cool. Go ahead and, that was perfect. Go ahead and select. Go ahead and select the unarmed helicopter. Start it back up. That way we can do a sling load. So the MI8 is actually more fun because I just tell people to hit certain keys. It shuts down one engine and then they do a takeoff and landing, single engine ops, and then they have them hit another key and it shuts down the other engine, they auto rotate. It's a lot easier. Used to be I could control your engines with a radio command, but they took it out. Otherwise I'd just fail it on you. I'd have you, we do hovering auto rotations, we would do taxiing auto rotations, but I'll test that once we're done. Yeah, most people see. Some people see through it. Like, gee, and I just make up letters to hit. As long as one of them's F, it'll shut down your fuel. Pick a cargo appropriate, and go ahead and pick it up. We're using runway 12. That's the direction you kind of want to take off in. Do a traffic pattern, land. Is your compass slaved? You know how to do that, right? Like, making your good. Purpose. Its purpose is because DCS is stupid. So, slave annulled the compass. I don't know too much about these compasses. I use high-speed gyros. Actually, I use a fiber optic compass now that auto-slaves. But basically, you're setting it to what north's supposed to be. So in the Huey world, you would nullify it, slave and null it, and that's what that half circle half plus means. And you make sure it matches your magnetic compass somewhat. So here, you make them match perfectly. The real world, that doesn't work. So that magnetic compass, if we're sitting on, you wouldn't be sitting on asphalt like this, we'd be sitting on pads. And they might have rebar in them and all kinds of stuff. So your compass points in all kinds of crazy, stupid directions. Your magnetic one. Aligning it. Yeah. Here's the thing, though. The stupid thing's going to be slaved from when the last person did it. So you don't really... Yeah, I think it's generally going to be all slaved already for you. I'll ask my Huey buddy about that, but ours are all digital, very fancy. Now the new ones are like laser gyros where they detect a change in frequency. Very precise. But the winds are off to your left, so just take off to the left, do kind of a pattern, drop the thing off. I like to hover into the wind, it makes it easier. Alright, you're hooked, so then you come up real smooth and slow, don't take off. Well, you hadn't picked it all the way off the ground yet. Yeah, because you dragged it. Grab another one for me. Trick is, you hook this thing up and you come straight up over it. And if it's heavy enough, you can actually pull some power in and it will center you above the load. You might be able to get away with 2,000 pounds in that aircraft. Yeah, you don't have any door gunners, you don't have any weapons on there. Thing's pretty light. Try and grab it. What's your options? Alright, grab that thing. Grab a 2. I come down low. In the real world, we come down to about 5 or 6 feet. That way the people hooking the load, they stand on top of it and they hook us up. And then my crew chief sticks his head in the hole and you make sure you get hooked. The Chinooks actually, like, the guy just reaches down with a pole and they self-hook without having anybody on the ground. It's pretty awesome. It's right under your nose. So the key is you don't want to drag it. So I think I gave you probably about 50 foot worth of rope. But I'll call you up once you're hooked. So you'd be low when you hooked it, but DCS doesn't let you get too low. They're kind of treating it like long lining, which you keep a really long line at the bottom and you hook it up. Alright, so nice and easy, slowly come straight up. You're hooked. GOB. Oh, governor? Yeah, you always leave the governor on. You blow your engine up. So it comes just straight up, nice and easy. Oop, a little slow down your foot. You're going slack. Oh, hold on. So now, slowly pull power. And see if this thing don't take off. See if it'll center you. The MI-8 centers beautifully. It doesn't want to, it's too heavy. Alright, so the load's off the ground 5 feet. And then just go ahead and fly away with it. Once they implement temperature limiting, so if your max torque today is 44 psi, you could flip off the governor and go above 44, or you could pull the collective and go above 44, but you'll hit the temp limiting and the engine will burn up. Yep, just do a nice easy find about that 60 knots and climb out. You don't have to go very high, go to 100 feet, do a turn, and just gently come back and put it down. So, if the load is swinging left to right, nice gentle porpoising. Slowly down, slowly up. Just push the just push the nose down, and then kind of come back up. Does is it spins the load. Now if the load's swinging front to back, just do some nice gentle S turns, and kind of gets into a spin. Eventually, just nice gentle turns with the send load, and eventually she'll center herself back under you. Yeah, it'll work. You just gotta do real gentle, nice, but don't worry about it. Come back and put her on down. I don't know how well they've got this thing mapped. You just gotta be gentle with the turns and all that. Yeah, back in that middle there. And remember, it's a heavy load, so really keep that collective in. Keep that rate of descent low. We don't settle. So pull in a little more power and just creep her down. And keep coming forward. Yep. Yeah. Pulling the power just so you don't. Wouldn't want to descent faster than 500 foot per minute with that load. Really, 200 to 300 is probably safe. We're in here. Oh no, you're doing fine. Once it's down, you come straight down. Yeah, so just come down now. Don't release it, just come down. Nice and slow, nice and slow. And then you slide off to the left or right, and then release it. Now you can cut her free when you're ready. It's hard to see if it actually broke free or it's gotten so wonky. And the reason you don't release it over the load layer, you're just gonna just go flying. It's funny. The reason you don't release, so we use a big Q-tip, like hooks to the bottom of the aircraft. And it's kind of heavy, and if you release it on top of it, it'll fall down and punch a hole in a Humvee or break a windshield. So we set it down, come down over the load, and we slide off of it and punch it free. Alright, so that's about all of them. We went into more detail on a lot of stuff. Let's try for option. Yeah, but that's basically senior wings. Cool. No problem. Yeah, well, you've done it in multiple parts, which helps, and you did the training before, so you knew you were pretty much ready. So, that makes it a lot easier. And you didn't crash on the auto, so that's good. Alrighty. We're gonna look at something in the mission later. I gotta fix that. I need to fix that map up. The wind's back. Alright, man. Oh, you're done. Next one, you want to work on EMQs, BMQs. We're trying to redo AMQs, or the EMQ, or EMTs, or whatever they're called. I'll make a post on that. Cool. How do I change it? Anytime. How do I change the wings? Shows the winds is 202. So DCS mission editor, the winds do the opposite. You go to the direction they're going, which in aviation, you always do the direction they're coming from. Well, the mission editor is the opposite. So I need to add 180 to 150, so it should be about 330. 335, actually. Or 355, good math.